Hello and welcome back. Today we are continuing with the Dalek build from Doctor Who, courtesy of the Hachette Partwork series. Here we have issues 63 through 66, and we are continuing with the skirt or base assembly here. As you may recall, in the last video I left part 62 unfinished because we need to attach the base plate or cover, but there was nothing ready to hold that in place, so we will be attaching that this time. We will also be continuing with issues 63 and 64. However, I will note already up front that I will not be doing parts 65 or 66 at present, and I'll cover those in a moment. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get looking at the magazines this month. So first up we have issue 63, which will be coming with the light covers. First up we get our contents page. Adventures in Time and Space looks at part 1 of Evil of the Daleks. While the Time Vortex looks at the Daleks and fascism. Obviously the Daleks being an allegory for the Nazis and the Third Reich. And then finally we get our base section, base panels assembly instructions, so you can see that the light covers will be going on in this issue. Issue 64, we get our contents page. We get episode 4 of the Daleks invasion. Oh no, sorry. We get part 1 of the Dalek invasion of Earth from the Adventures in Time and Space, which was episode 4 of the second season of Doctor Who. The Time Vortex looks at Servants of the Daleks with the Robomen. And then we will also be continuing with another light assembly. And in addition to that, we will also be attaching all of our base. So we will be assembling all of that, which is nice to see. Then moving on to issues 65 and 66. 65, we get our contents page as always. We get Adventures in Time and Space looking at one of the Big Finish productions with Mutually Assured Destruction, which was an 8th Doctor serial and was part of the Time Lord Victorious storyline they did a few years back. We get a poster this issue with behind the scenes looking at the voice of the Daleks. And then our assembly section for issue 65 is part of the outer skirt assemblies. So you can see from the instructions we are literally just attaching a couple of screws and plates together. Nothing fancy here. Issue 66 is going to be similar, but let's look at the magazine first. Contents page. We get The Nightmare Begins, which is episode 10 of season 3 and part of the Daleks Master Plan serial, which we recently had 2 episodes rediscovered and brought back to the BBC archives on, so that was interesting over Easter. we get another poster. The Time Vortex looks at the Dalek Alliance from the Dalek's Master Plan. And then we are continuing that skirt outer assembly here. What I've decided to do is actually wait and hold off on assembling these pieces until we have the entire outer skirt ready, and then I will assemble it all as one piece. Until then, the other bits are just going to sit in the box, so you can see what we will be doing, or what we will do eventually with the skirt assemblies here. But for the time being, I am going to leave those as they are, because I suspect it's going to be another several issues before that outer skirt is complete. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get down to the assembly. So first off, we're going to bring back in part 62, and we will add our cover to the base plate. I've attached the sticky pads onto this, and the other thing you probably will want to do, it's not in the instructions, but I would recommend getting a small spray and a lint-free cloth and just giving all of these lights a quick clean so there's no fingerprints or dust on them when we come to putting the glass covers over them. One other thing you are going to want to do before you start putting things on is just go around and make sure all of these bolts are nice and tight. Once everything's on, this is not really going to come apart anymore, so you are going to want to make sure that everything is holding together and there aren't any loose bits, there's no rattling. Or anything else that may end up causing you problems in the future. One other thing I have done to this is, when we come to put the cover on, it will go over these black plates, and there's little holes in the covers which will peg onto the little indents. Because that's rolled up and there's nothing to grip it, what I have done is I've put a couple of pieces of double-sided tape up here. I'm also going to do the same down here and possibly at the sides, just so that there's something to actually grip the skirt with. The magazine doesn't call for this and it didn't provide any double-sided tape, however it's just going to make things easier in the long run, I think. So let's take those covers off. That's it. There we go. Just need a little bit just to hold it in place, and then you can see that this will then go over. I believe it's this has got a glossy edge and a matte finish. I believe the matte finish is the face up section. I'll just double check that. Yeah, the glossy side faces the base assembly, so it's a matte finish up. Then just lining this up so it peg holes into this respectively. So 1 and 2. You can see that that's literally just holding that into place nicely, lining everything up for me as I would want it to. I think I'm going to do the same down here, just so we've got a couple of bits to properly hold this into place, and that there aren't any issues. This piece isn't lining up. Yep. Okay, so issue 63 gives us 3 of the covers, which are a black plastic spray painted gold. They also give us these dome covers, again just a plastic with a honeycomb pattern ridged on the inside. These are just going to sit over like so, with these coming in to plug on. Issue 64 will give us this cover and the final cover for these. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble all of these. So issue 64 has the larger dome cover and brace, and it has the panel for this one. It's important to note that the 2 side lights actually have a very specific way of fitting. You can see there's a semicircle on one of the smaller pegs, so you do need to make sure they are all lined up in the correct fashion. In addition to lining these up properly, they do take quite a bit of force to get them pushed into their respective peg holes. So not only does this need to be braced exactly, braced on a sturdy surface, but you do need to put some force in there, and we can fit this one as well, which is this side. Pushed in, and then this will have some larger positions as well. So let's bring in issue 64. It says okay, so on this one you will see that there's an arrow. The arrow is facing up towards the front of the Dalek. So get that lined up, and again push these into place. You then need to turn this over and screw all of these in respectively. So the final step this issue is to attach and screw on the base plate of the skirt, and then you can see the bottom half, or the bottom part, is done. So there we have issues 63 and 64 of the Hachette Dalek Partwork. As I said, I'm not going to do 65 and 66 just yet, as I am waiting for the rest of the skirt plates. But there we have it. It's definitely coming along. Issue 67 is giving us more of our skirt. But until next time, stay safe. Thank you for watching, and remember, freedom is a right, not a privilege.